All right, well, I think we can get started. Pretty good crowd, and yeah, out of respect of everybody's time, 5 minutes in. So, welcome everyone. We're so grateful to have you here. We're really excited to talk about this because the whole process of planning this thing, it was like lightning in a bottle for us because we had a clear goal because we do these workshops on a regular basis. And so we're really kind of sticking to the same goal, the same intention as the workshop. But you think about, okay, we do yoga classes, we can only accomplish so much in 1 hour. So we do this workshop that's maybe a little, it's 2 hours and it's a little less traditional. We don't have to appease, um, the workout yoga crowd. And so we get a little bit more customability and directed focus there. Well, and that's had great results. And we're like, what can we do with a whole ass weekend? If we keep the same energy and the practices and their purity. And so as we're like, okay, we know what we want to accomplish and we kind of have a roadmap how to do it, then all of these specifics as to what we want to provide just fell out. And so we ended up cramming in so much stuff that's really nurturing. But it wasn't like we were trying to do all these different things. It's that they were all appropriate and they all fit. And so it's just really great to have something that's concise. It looks to be about half the price of most other similar retreats. So we feel like that just does a service to the community to be able to provide this service, and the diversity is there, the impact is there. So we're so excited. So therefore, we're so excited to have you guys with us on this call. And before I move on, Zach, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you said it there perfect. Like Mitch and I, if you guys don't, I know you guys, most of you guys are my clients, um, but me and Mitch work here together in Atlanta. We work at the same yoga studio, and ever since I met Mitch, he came to a class one time, and I was like, I just vibe with this guy. Like we just instantly clicked, and just been buddies ever since. I think that was probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and and so yeah, just over the time of just us getting to know each other, we just started doing a workshop together, and just like it was just so fun. We're like, man, we should really expand this. And so I'm just overjoyed of just how this is all coming together. As we know, when we just surrender into the divine, things just happen as they should. And this thing has just come together so organically. So I just feel so good about this, and just looking forward to not only doing just this one, but these in the future as well. So I'm just really pumped for this first one.
Yeah, so now that you've got me all excited, I'll say it now. We'll probably say it at the end too, where we've already got a retreat in December. So it's this will be a Friday to Sunday retreat. So we're trying to make, people have limited PTO in this country, if PTO at all. So we want to work around 9 to 5 schedules as much as possible. So this Friday to Friday afternoon slash evening to midday Sunday is really accommodating for that. The next one will be a Thursday to Sunday. So, use a PTO kind of deal, but still very much leaning into allowing the workforce to be present during this. And then we've got friends with, I've got a friend that just bought 70 acres or something like that, south near Athens. And she's expecting to host us in the spring. We've got some more communities that we had to push back farther down because just the winter season isn't exactly the season to be doing some of this stuff. So we want to save some of these contacts for during the spring, the summer, and the fall of next year. And so we're lined up to do this on a fairly regular basis. And so we'll keep it fresh and we'll keep it funky, but it's something that you can, repeat business is very much a thing, just because it's a we can talk about this later basically, but you're resetting your nervous system and you're getting back to that center point, and every time you do that you're strengthening that. So we're really excited to do this with some regularity because it's good for even for us, the hosts, to do with regularity for our spiritual development. Yeah, so with that being said, I think what Zach said was a good transition here to the next slide, which is your facilitators, which obviously you guys are familiar with Zach. But hi, my name is Mitchell, and just like Zach, I spent time living at an ashram. I was in corporate America as a statistician, and just knew that life had more, and I just couldn't rationalize staying in corporate really any longer. And so how I carried myself just really butted against the grain of how what corporate America wanted me to be. And so I just took that leap, and we've been taking that leap for the last 3 years now. Yeah, it'll be 3 years in a month, actually, during this retreat. So that's kind of cool. And so it's just a string of curiosity. So for me and my path, it's been a lot of trying things out and seeing, take what works and leave the rest. And it's just been beautiful, the how you can go from this very logical mind of rationalizing everything into feeling it, experiencing it, knowing through experience that there's something greater, something beyond the veil, and that's definitely something that Zach and I are very passionate about sharing with others. Because once you have that direct experience, everything changes. So we've got some, accreditations here and all that good stuff, but frankly, what really matters is that you guys gel with how Zach and I carry ourselves, our vibe, and that you're able to feel safe and surrender to everything that's going on, all the practices, so that you can imbibe them and embody them, right? Because ultimately, that's what we want to do. We want to transform, and that requires us to allow it to nestle within and affect how we operate. From this more soul-driven spot instead of maybe a logical place or a fear-driven place. Zach, anything you'd like to add as to maybe your path or what we offer as facilitators?
Sure. Yeah, most of you guys know my past and stuff like that, but just a brief little overview. Um, I was not doing too well. I was severely depressed. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and just trying to find happiness in all the wrong ways, and it ended up breaking me down to such an extent that I was died. And so I discovered this beautiful practice that now I teach you guys, and it literally saved my life. And so then I went up to India, learned Hatha and Raja Yoga, and just so I can learn the science more and go deeper into my own healing and stuff like that. But what's so cool is that Mitch and I are trained really in similar ways, definitely in the Hatha Yoga. So a lot of how we approach things is very, very similar. Yogis are quite unique in how they approach their dance with the divine. And so it's fun that me and Mitch have really similar approaches. Of course, he's unique and I'm unique in how we do things, but there's a lot of overlap in how we approach things. So yeah, this has just been a perfect fit between he and I.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because our studio that we met at is one of the few studios that allowed for more traditional style yoga. And in a world filled with vinyasa classes and kind of this fitness yoga deal, we both kind of found our way to a place that honors and respects some of the less flashy trends, but have profound impact. I mean, I think we have people crying in our classes every time.
For
If
sure.
if nobody else, Bill will cry, and I know Bill doesn't mind us sharing that on this call, but it's
Bill's just free.
um, yeah, so we're really grateful for that, and it is unique, absolutely. And so instead of having fitness instructors, and there's a lot of people that are in the business that are still using the yogic practices to hone their own nervous systems to a certain degree. Oh, it just started over. That's so interesting. Um, and when you carry yourself with a certain the energy that you carry yourself with has a large impact, right? And so Zach has so grounded himself in all of these things, and his traditional and what some might view as simple nature of teaching is just so potent at the same time. There's kind of no need for flash when you've got the potency of the practice down. So yeah, just to speak up a little bit on that more traditional style of teaching, it's paid dividends, I think, for all who kind of witness it, which is beautiful. So to reference the slide here, we've got a little rubric. We won't, we're not trying to do anything too fancy, and we want to kind of clear through this to really make it more about the questions and answers, but just a little bit of who, what, when, where, why, basically. So with that, we'll get started with the forward journey, the journey forward. Woo! So, becoming the ashram, we wanted to make sure that every element of this experience is nourishing. So, there's rest in there. There's also a lot of offerings in there. So we have the chance to be with nature and connect away from self-service, away from any kind of societal influence, to where and it's very quiet. And so we have the ability to tap into silence. We have the ability to just witness nature and see how we as nature mirror the nature that we witness, because very often we come up from this environment where we see ourselves as separate from nature. So just getting to experience ourselves as nature, having time for that, having the environment for that, right? The food is very important. Food is medicine, and we talked about this in the community, in the conscious community. And in my mentor over in Switzerland, she very much is teaching this over in her part of the world, that everything you need, pretty much for healing starts with your relationship with food. And so we're very fortunate to have, I think he's a professional cook. If he's not professional, he's extremely passionate and extremely qualified. And he wants to make food for the people that is nourishing to the soul. And so it is just such a blessing to have this friend of ours come in and be a part of that process. So what we offer on the food front, I think will be really special. And we're buying the ingredients ourselves, right? Like this will be from scratch, us taking everything to this venue ourselves. So nothing's preordained in that way. So we have total control in that regard, which I think is just incredible, to with our experience of living in ashrams to be able to bring that in its totality, and that healing element to food. So I'm very excited about that. We've got a sound bath. We've got, I mean, just in general, everything's going to be energy work, right? What you do, and the meditation and the breath work, even the silence and the rest and relaxation. That's all energy work. So this will be a just an absolute gauntlet in the most beautiful of ways for your energy. And then, of course, we want to bring people together that are directed inward, but also, when they experience that joy, they naturally want to share it. And so, coming together as a community in this way, and maybe to gain perspective of other people's experiences at the same time, super helpful and just super joyful. It's all a part of the spiritual process to be in community in this way. So really, that's a very necessary element that we're incorporating. And then, of course, you have our backgrounds with the yogic sciences. We're incorporating the Hatha style, the Kundalini style, Yin. Bhakti is a devotional branch, so we'll be doing singing. We both got music backgrounds, so I've been playing guitar for most of my life. Zach was actually in the music industry, so he's got much more to brag about on that front than
I
myself.
don't know about that.
But so qualified and competent on the music front, and then as well we have experience with the ceremony side of things, where we've done ceremonies, we've facilitated ceremonies, we've experienced and felt the profound impact of ceremonies and the intention that goes behind that and how to structure that. And so we want to bring that more reverential part of the process to the forefront. Experiencing that reverence and bhakti and devotion is such a profound fast track for experiencing the divine within yourself. It's kind of like this fun way to speed track yourself into a state of surrender. I think is how I would describe it. And then pranayama is the breath work. We love our breath work here. Zach's gonna knock your guys' socks off with that. And also, what's worth expressing is the workshop that we do. That's 2 hours. This is what we end the retreat with. So we build up, we build up, we build up with all of this energy work, and then this workshop that people are like, even without all of this work, they're still blasting off into space and having profound experiences. Bill will tell you he's been to two of our workshops. It's a very profound 2 hours, and we're building up even more receptivity to that. And pranayama is a huge part of that. The breath work is a huge part to opening that doorway. So another thing to be excited for. And then there's the embodiment of wisdom. So we'll have some satsang, some wisdom talks. We'll have the opportunity for us to cook our own meals. Karma yoga is completely optional. It should be coming from this place of self-love and service. And so the ability to engage in karma yoga we've made completely optional. And we just encourage everybody to imbibe in that because it is part of the process and it's part of the evolution. As I mentioned, we have the ceremony, self-expression, feeling, safe to share, and to just be yourself and authentic in the space, very much a part of it. And then yoga nidra is a practice that's resting. And so we'll get into that when we get to that, but that's another way to access higher realms of really what we might call the Akashic records, that field of information. I think it's Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the unified field. And so getting to access that through Yoga Nidra brings more wisdom. So I don't know. I don't even think that's everything. I think we got more cooked into this retreat than just that. So it's amazing. And before I'm gonna close my door here because my son is a little upset right now. Um, but Zach, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a reason why we're doing this in nature. There's a specific reason, and it's because you are nature. You are a form of nature. And so getting back to nature is one of the most healing things. And it's not even something that like you have to even like do something out there. Like you might be wondering like, well, what's forest bathing? We'll totally explain to you how to do this, but really it's just about spending time with the elements. And so we're going to give you opportunities to really connect with these various elements throughout the weekend. And this is just so healing to our being, to our energy, is to reconnect with what we're made of. And so that's why we're really honing in on these retreats out in nature, because it's just so profound when you get into nature. And so while that may have looked like a lot, what Mitch was showing you of like, how are we going to fit all of that in one weekend? We've actually curated this in such a way that a lot of those things work together, and you'll have plenty of time to like really get in your own practice, really connect with nature, spend some time with yourself for deep processing. We'll even give you kind of prompts to do when you do have some alone time. We'll kind of guide you on how to connect with nature, how to go deep into that connection, and then we'll offer you some maybe contemplations in order to like really go deep into your alone time. But we also will have a lot of time where we're together, like around a fire, and we're sharing our experience. We're really um, coming together as a community each day. So there's going to be plenty of time for you to spend alone in your own processing, out in nature. If you're not a big nature person, then you can do it in your room, but a lot of community time as well. And then a lot of these practices are brought together into a very scientific way, to where we kind of prime you to get into this space of stillness and silence. And then we say, okay, now go. You go out into nature, go back and connect with where you come from. And so we're kind of just opening the door for you to then walk through it. And so I'm really excited just to be like immersed in nature, because usually we're like in the city, like in a studio, which helps. But like when you can open up and then get put out into nature and just be like, okay, now be out here in this way. It's so profound. So I can't wait to share this with you guys. And we'll have waterfalls and rivers around us, and just so much that nature can teach you about letting go and surrender and oneness. And so anyway, I could go on and on about the power of nature, but I'm super excited that this is the setting that we're doing it in.
Yeah, those are great points, Zach, and that's why I'm very intentional about using the word facilitator, because it really is you led, right? Your experience is you led. We're here to um, facilitate. We're here to put things at your doorstep for you to pick and take in. And so I think Zach did a wonderful job of highlighting that element, that you're able to go within and really stand in your own power, right? To have your experience and to have a relationship with your capital S self. Yay, awesome. Thank you, Zach. There we go. Now we're able to move. Um, So the madness behind the method, as I like to say. Um, and these bullet points just really speak for themselves. Self-realization is natural. So it's this process of getting ourselves out of our own way, right? Where if we just cut out all the bullshit, all the noise, then there's nothing there except truth, the true self. And with that self-realization. So we're just going through this process of taking out the bullshit, right? We're feeding the system in a nourishing way so that your digestive tracts and that your the body, the body, the food body, as we might say, the annamaya kosha, it is not having to deal with BS. So there's no resistance in the body in that way. We're doing the asana practice to reinforce that as well, cleansing, detoxifying, purifying the body, as well as the pranayama and other elements. These are all ways to cleanse the physical body, but also the energy body as well, as these bodies are kind of interconnected in this way. And so we're just setting the stage for you to experience yourself without all the influence of crap that's around. Fresh air, fresh food, time in silence. All these things are so necessary to us connecting with that which is always there. There's just a lot of noise covering it up. Um,
I could jump in on that.
yeah.
Um, that is really all this whole path is like, how can we just quiet this noise? And if you do, then self-realization just dawns naturally. You don't have to go and look for it and earn it or anything. You just gotta learn how to clear out. And so that's our intention here is we want to create this space that you can immerse yourself in for a couple days and really just clear out and quiet down. And then naturally you'll come to this realization. It's a natural process, and so this is the natural process of it. Millions of people have done it over thousands and thousands of years. They go to ashrams, yogi training facilities, really, and so that's what we're trying to create here is an ashram for you guys.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a way to bring the title into the fold. But I'll piggyback off of that as to we've got our second to last slide down here. Ashrams are incubators, where, yes, we're trying to create an ambiance for you guys to speed track your what we might say development, but really it's a purification process because, like we said, it's natural and it's already there. We just got to get the crud out of the way. But also the element, the why we brought the title of becoming the ashram in is this embodiment factor, right? Of you instead of just this being an environment where you come in and you go back into the same life that you once had, that you actually take away something to where you can be your own ashram, you can be your own refuge in this space to continue to fast track your spiritual development. So the goal for us is for not just for the retreat to be this place where there's uh, an incubation period of fascinating development, but that actually throughout the rest of your life, you will walk away from this thing, and even if it's just a tick more, that development, and I'm just using that word because it's what's coming to mind. I'm sure there's something more accurate. That development will be faster paced for the rest of your life. So this is, we want this to be absolutely profound in that way as well. And I think that ties into the second point that wellness has become an industry over an offering that, people will, hey, capitalism is doing its thing, right? It's working exactly as intended, and that's why we see some of these same retreats being charged for twice as much. Zach and I really have an intention of making this as accessible as possible because we want people to have these direct experiences. Because when they have these direct experiences, they're able to share themselves, their authenticity in the world in such a way to where we all benefit from it. So. Um, uh, Not just the environment being the ashram, but you being the ashram will then allow you to be that place of peace and that incubator for those that you interact with going back into your day-to-day life, which is just profound. And you think about that domino effect, right? It's a exponential curve of influence. Um, and then I think I mentioned we just have all these things going on, all these modalities that organically showed themselves as we were planning this. I'm referencing to the third point here that the path to the infinite is infinite, to where it was so organic for us to have all of these things, and it's beautiful that that happened because there's so many different modalities that people will really resonate with. So we've got a instructor at the studio that we work with, and she's so chill and she's so effing lazy in the most beautiful way. And so she loves yoga nidra because you're literally just lying on your back resting, and you're doing it with an intentionality and an awareness and a process that is very profound and brings a lot of transformation. But she's like, you're telling me I can lay on my back and like see God? Like, absolutely. And that's her modality, you know? And so, but we all have our own thing. For a lot of people, it's connecting with the body and finding God through movement, through pranayama, through sound, through singing, right? Through song. Some of it's through devotion, the ceremonies and the devotion side of things. I mean, so for us, we're just so excited to be able to share all of this. And it was part of the method was to expose people to a lot of different things so that they can pick up what works and leave the rest, in that sense that there's hopefully at least one practice within here that you're like, oh, I gotta take that back home with me. Like this is something I need to incorporate in my day-to-day when I get back. So that's very much an intentional part of how we constructed this as well. Um, yeah, so I'll move on from that. To love thyself is to love all. Yeah, love. It's cool. Zach, you got anything else before we move forward?
Yeah, this really is a weekend of self-love to give yourself some care, to take some time with yourself, right? A lot of times we just like we'll take, 5 minutes at the beginning of the day to sit in presence. No, this is an opportunity for the whole weekend to like really be in presence and use these techniques that help you come to presence. The presence is already here, as we mentioned. It's already here. That's why this is a natural process. However, we're cultivating an environment where it becomes much more likely for you to recognize that. And so that's just through putting yourself in a situation to where you can take care of yourself, be nice to yourself, good food, pleasant sounds, being in nature, moving your body and breathing. And through loving yourself, you come to discover the essence of your being. And then that love just explodes out of you.
Yes. Oh, beautiful point. Thank you so much. It makes me think about a lot of offerings and a lot of just even like the way that we vacation often is a product of hustle culture or wanting to stuff all these things. And yeah, we've stuffed this thing full of all sorts of really cool stuff. But this aspect of self-love brings this element that you're not, you're not feeding into like this hustle culture thing where it's like doing, doing, doing. It's actually just different ways of loving yourself and being drawn within. So it's different on the outside, but when you uh, approach it with that mindfulness of self-love and that inward draw, it really takes out the what you could say the effects of hustle culture from that being an element to this. That's just what came to mind as Zach was sharing there. Um, who is becoming the ashram for? Well, those who come to the workshop are 100% curious, they're 100% human, they're 200% excited, and they're 0% bullshit. This is obviously just for humor's sake, because we're all full of bullshit, if we're being honest. So we don't expect you to come without bullshit. We want you to come with your bullshit and lay your bullshit down at our feet. Zach and I can take care of your bullshit. So please just like put it in a big burlap sack and just dump it and like crush our toes with it. That's a-okay. Like that's what we're here for. So there's no pre
Andro, sorry, Handra goes, I'm 500% bullshit.
it is well then you're already self-realized. I'm not even
Yeah,
sure if you
you're an awakened being then.
you are wiser than me. That's so funny.
Uh,
Uh, And then the curiosity is really just a necessary ingredient for embodying and for imbibing in these things, right? To not have preconceived notions, is what allows you to actually directly experience the power of these practices more fully. So that was an important element. 100% human. Well, if Jesus is Yeshua is fully human and fully God, then why not us? So fully human, we incorporated that, but also fully God. And that's the part of our body of our aspect, the totality of our being that we're going to be really exploring and having some fun with. Um, and then excitement just feels, I'm like getting way too into the weeds on this, but excitement, it'll be there. It's going to be awesome. But all this to say that it really is for everyone. There's not a single person that doesn't benefit from this environment, from this work. This is a universal science. It is a science of the human condition, and it meets everybody where they're at. It's amazing how many classes that Zach and I do. And people will come up to us and they're like, "Oh, this is exactly what I needed," and they'll tell you about what they're going through and why it helped, and you're kind of just like, "Well, that wasn't the intention at all," but like, I'm glad that you received, because it's so universally, and I hate using the word healing, but it's so universally healing or nourishing in this way that it meets us where we're at, that there's no reason for anybody to really not get to experience this and to not be nourished by it. And then, of course, if you have any hesitancies, questions or concerns, by all means, reach out to Zach or myself, and we can more specifically talk about what's going on with you and why you might be feeling a little resistance, why this might not be for you. Zach, anything that you'd like to speak to on this?
No, I love it. I got a nice chuckle out of this. That
Sick.
was good.
Yeah, we can't take ourselves too seriously. I know Bill always is pushing for me to do a comedy yoga class. But really, speaking of being 500% bullshit, I think that's where mine shows up when I'm just like getting real cheeky in my classes and not caring what's said. Um, all right, so a little bit of the logistical details here. When it's October 3rd through 5th, and so we're starting at afternoon. We can be pretty flexible. That being said, we will have to set up the space and get some of our friends who are helping us out with the manual labor kind of on board with our itinerary and things of this nature to make sure we're all aligned as a team before you guys show up. But we're pretty flexible. So I think our first uh, kind of like optional, it is kind of like as people trickle in, they're welcome to do a yin class with us to really kind of ground and get things started. That starts at 5. So I said it starts at 4 p.m. just if anybody wants to show up and kind of soak in the sights and put their luggage down, get their bed and things of this nature. Otherwise, you're welcome to show up at 5 and kind of walk in as you will. We'll have that little yin class going on at first, and then we'll kind of seamlessly transition to just kind of hanging out and being a community until dinner, and then we'll really kind of have everybody there for dinner. And then yeah, it goes until afternoon on Sunday, and if you need to go, you need to go, and of course, if you need flexible arrangements on that front, uh, well, I guess I should talk about that a little later here. But yeah, so roughly 3 p.m. is when things will finish. And you can leave earlier if you need to, of course. Do what serves you in this way. Um, where it is this has been such a blessing. Zach and I do our workshop at this studio, Om Studio for Wellness. And Yulia, the owner, just is such a beautiful soul. And she recently got this plot of land out in Clayton, Georgia. And she hosts her retreats out there. And so we're actually the first ones to be third party going and sharing her space that she uses for retreats for our own purpose here. So and the fall is such a hot commodity because it's so beautiful in this area of Georgia with the changing of the seasons that the retreats are booked up. I mean, we're looking at fall of 2027 for one of the retreat locations because they're already booked up for 2026. And so just for us to kind of last minute get this fall time in such a beautiful part of Georgia, part of the world, is just such a treat and such a blessing. And it's built for yoga retreats. So it has all of the props and the amenities that it is there to support you for exactly this kind of offering, which is just awesome. Um, Moving on to the how, we have the Atlanta airport, the Hartsfield-Jackson airport is the busiest airport in the world. It's actually a really smooth logistical airport.
It,
Relatively speaking, I would say it's really a treat. As somebody who is in aviation, the aviation business, when I was in corporate, it is. I don't know why people have as much gripe with it as they do. It's really an impressive airport. So, and it's very easy to find flights to get there from just about anywhere in the US, especially if you're flying Delta. Um, that being said, the site is about an hour and a half drive away from the airport. So, what we have in mind right now is for everybody who's coming to be able to communicate as we get closer with their landing times, and perhaps one person will get a van for everybody, and everybody pitches in and shares the load, right? So everybody pitches in to get that actually like the exact kind of van that you see in the picture there, that kind of 10 to 12 person van. And if we need to, we need to, then that's fine too. But trying to make this thing as cost effective as possible. I don't remember what the cost was for getting an Uber up there, but Zach and I will already be up there really by the time people are flying in. So we cannot personally provide shuttle service, and there's really not like a shuttle like a bus or really anything that I'm aware of that'll get you to the wellness retreat center. So getting a rental car and spreading that across as many people as possible. If you want to get your own car and like you're okay with that expense, then like by all means, or you'd rather share with a couple people, then like by all means, you can customize this to your liking. But as far as making it as cost effective as possible, I believe that's the route that we're sticking with, and we're kind of leaving that for the participants to coordinate with amongst themselves to where it works with their schedule. So you have some freedom in that sense. Uh,
yeah, and we'll start a WhatsApp group once we get um, once we figure out who all is coming and everything. Then we'll start a WhatsApp group just so we can all be in communication, and we can then we'll figure all this stuff out together.
Yeah, I would expect that to start 2 weeks from, so really 2 weeks from today. So it'll be 2 weeks before the retreat, which is also 2 weeks from today, more or less. And and then maybe ramp that communication up the week before for sure. That's how I anticipate that to look like at least. And then, so thank you for that, Zach. And then what to bring? It's a yoga retreat, so you'll be sweating, you'll be out in nature. The facilities are nice. You'll have, it's a big old cabin. It seats 20 to 22, I think, max. We're capping it at around 18, 16 to 18. So there will be a little bit more breathing room and a little bit more space. It's not about, filling this puppy up. It's about the ambiance, right? It's about having the environment for that incubation that we talked about, that ashram setting. Um, so there will be plenty of opportunity for kind of fitness clothes. We recommend, as much organic materials as possible. Wearing and sweating in spandex and polyester and these oil-based products is not conducive for the system. That being said, there's no need to buy a whole new wardrobe just for the retreat, right? But if you have comfortable organic material, then obviously that's conducive to the system, and we encourage that. Otherwise, just wear what's comfortable. We do encourage one all white attire. This is for the devotional aspect as we do ceremonies, and especially the Kundalini practice. This is most conducive in an all white attire. How I like to think of it as the darker colors are more reflective in nature, whereas all white is more receptive to receiving light, and that's really what we're doing is we're trying to receive light. Um, Gabriel's asking, does polyester actually matter? I thought that sounded like BS. There's actually scientific studies that show that, especially when you sweat and you introduce heat while wearing, especially the skin tight polyester, it actually disrupts your endocrine system. So we actually have scientific evidence that show that this is disruptive to the body, and therefore it's disruptive to the mind. You'll have a noisier mind trying to filter out the residue of these oil products out of your system, because it's obviously you don't drink gasoline, that doesn't end well for you. So when it enters your system through the skin, which hopefully we're all aware that the skin can absorb and get things into the bloodstream, like essential oils and things of this nature. We're already aware of creams and things of this nature. So hopefully that is some grounded a science response for you in that question. Um, so yes, it does matter. And I feel I've shifted really just in the last couple of months to a completely organic cotton. Most of my stuff is brought over from India, from the ashram that I stayed at. And it's very hard for me to go back to the materials that I was wearing before, because my body is so much more at peace wearing these organic materials. And they're just softer. They just feel great. Um, my life cord shorts are polyester. It's hot. I mean, yeah, do what you got to do, man. You know, we're not judging. We're just letting you know what's conducive with the system, and giving you guys the knowledge to, make your own decisions for yourself. But there's no judgment on our part, and we totally understand. Like, we've got budget constraints, and so we're not here transforming our wardrobe every week, and tossing money out like that. So we completely understand. There's no judgment on that front. We're just letting you know, hey, this is conducive. If it can't work that way, then that's totally fine. No judgment. Don't worry about it. But maybe it's a goal to like slowly integrate more organic cotton and linen and wool and things of this nature into your wardrobe, and just see, how does that feel? How do you feel if you went a whole week wearing organic material and then going back to polyester? You might notice the contrast, just like I did. To each their own. Outdoor essentials, ideally we're not bringing like chemicals really into the equation. So for insect repellent, I mean, this is the fall, so hopefully the insects won't be too at large, but getting some citronella essential oil citronella is the active ingredient in a mosquito spray. And so getting the essential oil and rubbing that, on the wrists and then on the kind of the sides of the jaw and maybe a couple of other points is very effective at warding off most bugs. So that's a great natural way of bringing in like bug spray essentially through a citronella essential oil. Bathing products, of course, you're going to want to bring. They've got, I'm not sure if they're fully stocked as far as soap and shampoo and things of this nature, but just go ahead and bring, what you feel comfortable with. That being said, I'd say there's no reason to really bring your blow dryer and your curler and your iron and things of this nature. Like, I encourage all, yeah, Anthony, I'm looking at you.
I know you
Yeah, I encourage all to just kind of let this be an opportunity to be feral and see what it feels like to wear that. Um, I'm gonna say primal, kind of that primal energy, just and I hate to say authentic, because it doesn't mean that you're inauthentic if you're doing all this stuff, these beauty products and things of this nature. But there's no one here to impress, is what I'm gonna say. So just I say show up for yourself, and if that means that you want to doll yourself up, then doll yourself up. That's totally fine. But I think Zach and I would both encourage you to just to try on what it's like to not worry about things of that nature, and maybe use it as a growing opportunity. Zach, anything else? We got comfortable clothes. We've got all white outfit. We've got outdoor essentials. Maybe like a hiking stick, water bottle. Um,
Yeah, I think we covered the bases there. Just comfortable clothes that you can move in and stuff like that. If they can be natural, great. If not, that's okay. And then yeah, just kind of realizing you're out in nature. So kind of all those things, water bottles, just comfortable walking shoes. Maybe we'll walk to the river and the waterfalls and stuff like that. I'll probably be barefoot. I like walking barefoot in nature, but I know that's not for everybody. So yeah, just we're not going to go on like trail runs and stuff like that. So you can probably still bring flip flops and stuff, but just kind of take into account that you'll be out in nature.
I want to do a shout out to the chat, because you guys are unhinged right now with some of these comments. It's hilarious.
I'm dying laughing.
I don't think
Helios,
he's joking.
no, no. Well, hey, if I had my druthers, clothes would actually be optional. Like I'm a huge nudist at heart. Um, that That being said, we are not liable for any lawsuits that come out of you deciding to take off all of your clothes and somebody, claiming mental anguish, I think is the legal phrase that they like to use over it. So do it at your own expense. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. Please just respect that this is where we are as a species, that clothes are mandatory. Um, and if we do enough of these retreats, maybe we'll evolve enough as a species to where clothing can be optional, and the society as a whole will respect that. Uh, Zach and I are jotting down notes right now, something to keep in mind for
That
later.
is too funny.
The manicure travel bag, Audrey, by all means, girl, you go ahead and glow up. I hope you guys have seen Spaceballs. It's a
Yeah.
spoof of Star Wars, and you've got this princess that's okay, great. Audrey's laughing, yeah, so she probably knows. Um, I'm actually not serious. The whole joke is to not take anything seriously. Uh, um, but she's got this big old, he's like, this guy is rescuing this princess, and he's like, take only what you need. And she has this massive suitcase, and these two guys are just like they're like going through a desert, like struggling to carry this thing. And they're like, okay, what the hell's in this? And they open it up. Oh my God, we need
There's a
to hurry.
giant
I'm so
hair
sorry,
dryer.
but this is so funny. Yeah, industrial strength hair dryer, and she's like, I can't live without it. Thank you, Audrey, for bringing that childhood memory to mind. Okay, you guys are too much fun. I'm getting off the chat because I could stay there for forever. Okay, so now we'll move into here. I think I accidentally marked up the slideshow. But yeah, questions. Got them.
I think you kind of covered most of it. I was going down, but so I'm gonna fly in. Atlanta is the best airport to fly into. You guys said.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ATL.
that's the good thing about it being in the airport being the Atlanta airport is like Mitch was saying, it's one of the busiest airports in the world. Therefore, it's a little cheaper to fly into Atlanta than some other cities. So, yeah, everything's just kind of working out nicely, isn't it?
Sure is.
It's a straight shot up a major highway for most of the time. At some point you hit back roads, but it's a pretty simple drive to get there too. So logistically on that front. That being said, I'm not sure what signal is like as you get closer, especially given the vast array of cell providers that we all might have. So we'll get you guys the details for the physical address in advance, just so that for all who are driving up have the opportunity to maybe print out or just jot to memory how to get there in those final stretches that reception might be a little low, just to make sure that everybody logistically is taken care of there.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions.
Yeah, Heidi.
So yeah, if we would happen to drive by ourselves with our own car, will there be parking for our vehicle?
Oh,
Yes.
there's ample parking. Yeah.
Okay. And oh shoot.
Because this is a retreat center, where it's mostly people.
Oh my gosh, my other question just blew my mind. It left.
That's okay. You can always reach out.
Oh shoot, it'll come to me.
No worries.
Oh gosh.
Heidi, are you in the consciousness group, the school group?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're welcome to, if you think of the question, you can ask it in one of the posts that's pinned about the retreat, because then everybody else will get a chance to see the answer to that question too. So that can be a way to help others.
Yeah, you guys feel free to hit us up on school, or if you guys have our numbers and stuff, or WhatsApp, or yeah, just feel free to hit us up if any questions arise or anything at all.
Zach is inviting you guys to sneak into his DMs.
Does everybody get their own room, or is it shared rooms?
There are shared rooms. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as to, I know our other retreat, we're hollowing one room out for somebody who says they need their own room. That's an attachment, so maybe they won't feel that way after the end of by the end of the retreat. But um,
There is we will have different floors. So like men will be like in one room or one area, and then we'll have females in another.
yeah, obviously,
It's like in the sleeping area.
the bathroom situation is going to be spaced out, right? So we're going to very intentionally make sure that everybody's comfortable. And again, Yulia hosts her own yoga retreats out here, so she designed this space with all of these things in mind. She's not expecting guys and girls to be sharing bathrooms and to be in such close quarters, but it's a large cabin, and so yeah, we will be sharing the large space, but there's plenty of opportunity to divide via gender for everybody's comfort.
And are like all the things that you talked about, all the yoga and the meditations and stuff, there's like no extra charge for those things. Those are all included.
Correct.
Yes, all
Okay.
included.
Mhm. Okay.
And there will be time to rest and relax, kind of some off time. And if you're wanting a chakra assessment with Zach or a private sound bath with me or Reiki, we do have some of these things that we offer already privately, just here that we can do during the retreat during those off times as well, if the timing permits. But that's nothing that we covered here in this call. Everything that we covered is all inclusive to the fee for the retreat.
Mhm. Okay. Hmm.
Sans transportation.
Right.
Before the retreat, maybe next week or in 2 weeks, probably next week if I had to guess. So if any questions come up or anything like that, you guys can come on back next week or just hit us up. I'm glad to talk to y'all.
All right. Well, was that somebody?
I think that was me.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. This was very fun. Again, we're very excited about this offering. We'll actually post the recording to this call so that others can, who weren't able to make it, can also have access. And we'll just look forward to seeing you all in the beautiful landscape of North Georgia and just cultivating just a beautiful, beautiful little ashram within ourselves.
Thanks, guys. Talk
Thank
to y'all
you.
soon.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Real damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask, how much is the retreat?
It's $9.95 with a $300 non-refundable deposit.
Okay. Thank you. That was my only question.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Reach out to us for the landing page link if you need it. Gabriel, are you in the school community?
I am.
All right, cool beans. The link is there, and I think it's in one of the pinned posts about the retreats and workshops. So it should be one of those top 3 posts.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, man. Hope to meet you in person.
I look forward to it.
Woo!
Take care.
You too. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.